Hi, Dale.
Hey, how are you?
Nice to meet
There you
you.
go. Hey,
Yeah,
Dale.
so you guys can hear me, right?
I can
See
Yeah.
hear
me?
you perfectly fine. Thank you so much for agreeing to
Oh, it's
talk with us.
he's in the garage.
No problem.
Oh, heck
Yeah,
yeah.
this is his garage home gym.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Look at all the medals he's got on the wall behind him.
Wow.
So this is Heavy D's Powerhouse. Cup-
What are those awards? Talk me through.
Well, be honest with you, after you get so many, they don't mean a whole lot to you.
What are they? Powerlifting medals
Yeah,
or?
these are all powerlifting.
Wow,
I
so
gave
cool.
I gave a fair share of them away. Did I ever give you any, Austin?
No, not me. You gave him to the
God,
Austin.
ah, that's the way it goes.
Yeah, is what it is.
Yeah. So I thought I'd come out in my gym where I really feel comfortable.
Amazing.
Okay.
So Dale, thank you for agreeing to talk with us. I hired this guy right out here in California. He found
Yeah.
us. We found
Yeah.
him, and he's going to be helping us develop a strength and resistance training program for elders out here in our practice. And he says, I've trained with one for a long time. I figured I would um, be able to ask you some questions about because obviously just with what he's told me about you, you're just kind of the epitome of what we want people to know is possible for just their health, for their overall just kind of fitness, strength, and just kind of well-being. So if you wouldn't mind, just that's kind of what this interview, or I guess this discussion will be about.
Yep. That'll be fine. Yeah. Yeah. So Austin and I did meet some time ago, met in the gym training, and I turned out to be a couple of his volunteers for classes that he took. We went to meets together, learned together. I think you hired a pretty good guy there.
Thank you very much. I think we did too. It's been a great fit so far. We're really happy with that. Could you talk about maybe a little about yourself and just kind of what led you down this road of like having all these medals in the back and obviously someone, well, how old are you, Dale?
I'm 76.
70, yeah,
76.
76. Like what the heck are you doing like lifting like the weights that you're doing? Like what is this about? Like this is like insane. You showed me some clips and some videos of you. Like what the heck are you doing? Can you just tell some of our viewers or just our people like what is going on? Like how did you end up doing this type of stuff for your
Uh,
body?
okay. So one way that I'm probably different than most older people, older gentlemen, is that I've been doing this my entire life. So I've never stopped. So I think that's the key. Once you do start, you need to continue. Uh, so before powerlifting, like if I go back to Maryland, they don't know me as a powerlifter. They know me as the wrestling coach. So when I came to Montana, I had to reinvent myself.
I was a wrestler. I wrestled. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I'll
cool.
tell you what, once you wrestle, you can do anything.
Hell yeah. It's
Yeah.
something about that sport, Dale. It's just it really weeds out the wheat from the chaff, doesn't it?
Oh, you better believe it. So back in Maryland, of course, I was a varsity coach for a number of years, but then after I stopped coaching varsity, I started the youth program. I've been out here in Montana 20 years. That youth program is still going strong.
Wow,
So
amazing.
that's kind of neat. But I came out here and I did something different. Like lifting, I always wanted to be a, even when I was wrestling, I always thought of myself as one of the strongest people in the gym. And because of that, when I came out here and I got around people like Austin and other lifters in the gyms that I went to, and it just led me right into lifting. And it was it's quite a journey, and it's not over yet.
When did you start that transition of like wrestling coach, wrestler into like lifting weights? Like how long did you kind of start the lifting of the weights or the powerlifting?
For powerlifting, I started at age 60.
Age 60, you
It
started.
started at age 60, and So at age 75, well, 70's up. That's where I got all my big records.
Wow.
And by big records, I think more as personal than as going to a federation and taking a world record. So I measure mine on myself. So like my big deadlift came at I was in my 70's. My big squat came in my 70's. My
Can you tell us about
I
some of
don't
the
I,
numbers? Like what are those big lifts? What does that mean for our viewers? What does a big lift mean?
okay. So a big lift, I count a big lift as like a lifetime PR. So my big deadlift came at gosh 70, 72 probably, and that was 407 my
407 what? What do you can you what
pounds, 407
407
pounds,
pounds.
or 187.5 pounds. And
Oh,
the
kilos.
reason I really lifted that one was in the IPF Championship. So as we're going into the final lifts, you get 3 lifts. So I did my opener, and the guy behind me, that's who I was worrying about. I had to beat him. So when he did his final lift, he put 5K or 11, 11 pounds on the bar that he'd never lifted before in his life, and it went up. So then it's my turn. So I had to put 5K, 11 pounds on the bar that I've never lifted before in my life, and it went up. So I ended up beating him by body weight. And and then my big squat happened 2 years ago at probably 73, and that was 170K, 374 pounds.
What?
My big bench
That's
happened before
crazy.
that, and that was
I'm just
250.
in awe. Sorry to interrupt. It's just like amazing. That's like
Yeah.
well done. Like that's like whew,
Yeah.
you're just one of those people, man. Just
Well, so here would be another one. My big totals, they happened in my 70's. Like the first time I broke 1,003 pounds, and one time I broke 1,000. Then I broke that again, 1,008 pounds. My last meet was in October of last year, and 1,003 pounds. So I'm one of the few individuals that has been breaking 1,003 pounds in the world
Mhm.
for the last, well, I'll say the guy from Denmark started to do it. He started to do it 2 years ago, and his numbers are still going up. And he's 78, maybe 79. And but so there's competition between the two of us. But my big numbers happened in my mid 70's.
can we get some footage at some point?
Yeah,
Footage?
I have them all.
Oh man,
I,
we're gonna make a video series on Dale Austin.
yeah,
We
yeah.
gotta just let people see this. This is incredible.
Well, there's people out there stronger than me, so don't show it to them.
It's all right. It's all right. It's amazing. Can you tell us at the age of 60 what made you decide to start with
Okay, so
lifting?
this is a funny story. So I was working as a school counselor, and the head custodian and I, we were pretty good
Give
buddies.
me a second. Our
So
lights.
okay,
There we go.
okay. So the head custodian and I are pretty good buddies, and I'd often go in and talk to him and tell him what I'm doing in the gym, the weights that I'm lifting. And Larry said, "God, you got to be one of the strongest people in the world." And I said, "Larry, you're full of shit. It's a pretty big world." So this conversation went on for 2 years. And one time I went home and I Googled, and I went back the next day and I said, "Larry, you might damn well be right." So then after that, a lot of something that keeps not only older people but younger people also is fear of the unknown, and they don't want to get out of their comfort zone. So when you want to do something different, you need to move out of your comfort zone. So I've always been pretty good at moving out of my comfort zone. But after I went back to Larry, I started competing.
Got it. Amazing. Were you dealing with any pain or limitations? Obviously, not a fear of the unknown, but tell me a little bit more about, certain things that you had that may have kind of like held you back or you were kind of nervous about before you kind of get started, especially doing some of these like heavier lifts and things like that.
Yeah, it was fear of the unknown. That's the only thing that held me back. As far as aches and pains, I didn't have any aches and pains. Didn't have any injuries. I'm happy to say that sitting here right now, I cannot tell you one ache or pain in my body.
Amazing. Do you can you compare that to maybe some of your peers around your age, people some of the things that they may have, misconceptions about age and just kind of like, feeling well. A lot of our clients, I'd say, or not our clients now, but the clients that we want to educate and teach that this stuff can be safe and it can be the thing that makes you not have aches and pains. That's kind of the main message that we want to get across, that doing things the right way it's those aches and pains away. So what are the types of things that you would say to maybe that person, if that makes sense?
Okay, well, I'm just going to give an example. Let's say a bench press. So many people have aches and pains bench pressing. Young people, old people. That is just so common for people. Their shoulders hurt. They have rotor cuff problems, and many of those things go right back to learning how to do the movement properly. If you put your body in a good position, you're probably not going to get injured. If you're not in a good position, your chances go up 100% that you're going to get injured sooner. So proper position, knowing how to do it. And to do that, you need to find a qualified coach. I'm just so big on coaches. I've had the same coach since 2018. And you better believe when he critiques my videos, it's not about pumping sunshine up my butt. And that's what I want. I don't want to tell him how great I look or anything. I want him to watch my movements to make sure that I'm moving properly. So for people that have aches and pains, if they would get a qualified coach or to help them through the process so that they're, yeah, like that guy sitting next to you. Yeah, we've had many conversations. Every time we would work out, we would always we would watch, and like Austin was expected to watch my form and critique it. And when he lifted, I watched his form and I critiqued it. And that is just so helpful. But some people don't like to take a critique. They look at it as, sometimes they look at it as criticism. So an older lifter would need to get over that, to know that this person's critiquing me because he wants to help me move better.
Yeah.
So that'd be one example. And then and like if I'd be talking about the squat, I would say the same thing. When you learn the proper movement patterns and how your body should be moving in space, well, then you solve a lot of problems, especially when it comes to injuries. Now, for people that might have aches and pains, go right back to that coach. What they're going to do, they're going to give you a lot of different movement patterns, and by going through those movement patterns, it helps to solve a lot of problems.
That is the core philosophy of what I do from the pain rehab perspective is to have these core movement patterns, a squat, a hinge, a split squat
Yeah,
slash lunge, a push and a pull. And that is the framework for how we try to diagnose the movement problems that's stopping them from being able to do
yeah,
those movement patterns. Our
yeah,
jobs use our manual techniques, cupping, massage, manual stretching, chiropractic adjustments, whatever it is to fix the movement pattern.
yeah,
But once you fix the movement pattern, you got to use the movement pattern. You got to load
yeah,
it. You got to
yeah,
keep it. Because what happens if you don't? Old habits come back in.
yeah,
You get
yeah,
stiff. And that's the for the stage of where we're at for my business, I've been in the pain to normal, get people in pain back to normal. And then the normal, then they're off because they're back to normal. But then I get a call 9 months later, hey, I'm in pain again. Like, and so I get them back to normal again. And then
yeah,
they're off again. And they
yeah,
come back in the back. And it just the cycle doesn't it keeps repeating. But there were some people who just kind of stayed on with me and said, I'm tired of this cycle. I go to the gym. I want to keep this momentum that I got with you, but here I am. I'm hurt again. I don't know what I'm doing. There's too much stuff going on at the gym. It's overwhelming. I don't know where to do or where to start. So that's when I started to take on these clients as long-term kind of training clients to help them get stronger. And again, these are people that have grandmas in their late 60s, osteoporosis, years of chronic back pain, haven't lifted a weight in their life, or maybe some have had some previous experience.
Yeah.
And now at the age of 68, they're doing their first deadlift, 25 pounds, elevated 6 inches off the
Yeah.
ground. 3 years later, they're now swinging that weight with velocity, with
Mm-hmm.
intent. They're holding suitcases up the stairs while their husbands
Oh,
are
yeah.
lagging
Yeah.
behind,
Yeah.
right? So that's the vision that I had, but I just couldn't execute because I couldn't find someone that wanted to help me kind of do that side of
Yeah.
it. That's kind of where I'm at. That's the
Yeah.
vision that I've
Well,
had. That's why I got this guy. So
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, you have the correct philosophy. And with that philosophy, everyone has to start where they are. Uh, and I always remind, like, I do work with older people. Generally, I always train with young people. And but when I'm around older people, I tend to help them. Like one time, I was in a gym and I was watching this person, 80 years old, trying to do a squat, and like he was just had a dumbbell in his hand and squatting to the bench like this. But his form was so bad that I went over and asked him. I said, "Would you like for me to show you how to make that easier?" And of course, his ears perked up. And so I said, first of all, when you're on the bench, you got to push your butt back. That's the hinge. And he started to do that. I said, butt back, butt back. And it just improved 100%, just like that.
yeah,
But it was just starting him where he is. I mean, he wasn't ready for a squat, and he may have never done a squat, and I don't care. But
80
I
years
started
old, right? 80 years old, right?
80 years old. This is the same guy that I met in the gym one time, and some reason we get talking, and he told me it was his birthday. His birthday was coming up soon, 80 years old. I said, well, what are you going to do? He said, well, I decided I'm going to go for a bicycle ride and ride 1 mile for every year. So of course, I'm waiting for him to come back into the gym so I could talk to him, see how it went. And he said, well, it went pretty good. I decided to ride a couple more miles. So he rode 80 miles. Then when he's ready for his next birthday, I knew when his birthday was. And I said, well, what are you going to do for your birthday this year? I said, I bet you're really looking forward to taking that 80-mile ride again, aren't you? And he said, oh, not so much. He said, I'm waiting for the ride in June when I'm going to go 100 miles. So that's pretty inspirational, I thought.
Yes, yes, absolutely. We see people even in their like 50s and 60s in this in our region, East Bay area, tech heavy.
Yeah,
Um, I don't worry about our boomers as much as I worry about people around my age group, late 30s, early 40s into their
yeah,
50s, working in tech, high stress, sitting over a computer at home, not commuting,
yeah,
10 hours a day, and their bodies are just deteriorating and they have no awareness that that's actually happening. So not only do we want this to be like a an endeavor that we help, people as they age, but for people to realize that's like, like this is it's even more relevant for people because they just lack that awareness of what's actually going on in their own bodies because of their job,
yeah,
because of their stress, and they're just so
yeah,
worried about just what's going on in the technology that they've lost complete sight of their body. So the fact that people in their late 70s, mid 70s, 80s are doing these things is what I want people to realize. That's like
yeah,
age is just a number. Of
yeah,
course, yeah, there's gonna be some level. You're not gonna do the things you're at 70 that you were doing at 20. It's just age is gonna get something around at some point. But this
Yeah,
is a testament to say that like, no, you can ride 100 miles at 80 years old. Why not? But it doesn't mean you
yeah,
start at 100 miles.
yeah,
You can start
yeah.
somewhere. So
Y- I agree with that 100%. There's something else you need to realize. Everyone can get stronger. I don't care how weak you are or how old you are. You can get stronger. And it might, and often it's just taking that first step, and you can get stronger. Now, for older people, I find older people, and including myself, that I might have to work harder than Austin to stay in shape. Because if I take a month off, I'm going to have a lot of losses. Where he can take a couple of weeks off, and maybe not lose anything at all. But I find I need to stay very consistent. If I'd be working with a coach, that means I show up. And part of everything, you got to show up and do the work, and the benefits will come.
the big word that I think is hard for people, but once they kind of get the ball rolling, it's easy, is consistency and accountability.
Yep.
That is the magic that makes it all work is consistency. It does not
Yep.
work if you just come in once a week, once a month,
Mhm.
here and there. It's just if you want a life like this, it is a non-negotiable fact that it must be a consistent thing that you do. But what are the rewards that generally come with that consistency of
Yeah.
your strength and working
Yeah.
with your body,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. Those rewards are leading a functional life when you get older, meaning I can do anything in the world I wish to do. Now, if I would have sat on the couch after I retired, uh, I probably would not be able to do that. But I can do anything I want. Same as those, I could do anything I wanted in my 20s. I can do now.
Right.
So, see, and it all comes from the consistency, showing up and doing the work. And after you do it so long, it becomes enjoyable. So
Yeah.
you no longer need to be motivated. You just know you're going to do it. It's
Got
the
it.
discipline of the whole thing.
Understood. Can you maybe speak to someone, maybe an ex-client of ours who hasn't been in a while? They may be getting into 60s, late 50s, early 70s. We're now offering a strength training program done right, managed, started by me, run by this guy over to my right here. What would you say to that person that hasn't exercised in 10 years, maybe has some aches and pains, just think this is not for me, this is unsafe? What would you say to that person in terms of them maybe wanting to have a good kind of quality, functional, quality of life as they get older? What would you say to that person
Yeah,
just maybe wants it, but just is just really skeptical, like, oh, I don't know,
yeah,
this doesn't seem right, this
yeah.
doesn't feel right.
Yeah. I think the first thing I'd remind him is that movement's going to help him function better in all facets of life. One example would be, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, they have grandkids. You want to be able to go sit down and talk to them. You want to pick them up. Do you want to go out in the yard with them and kick the ball? Uh, these things happen through exercise. They do not happen by wishing. You actually need to do something. So the whole benefits, I mean, it compounds the whole life. It benefits everything you do in your life. Going for a walk with your wife, deciding you want to walk down to the local store to get something, walking out to get to the mail, you want to do your yard work. This is how you do it, and then you go out and you do it. But it you got to start, and even though it's hard for some people, they they do need encouragement. And talking about the fear of the unknown, well, we know what it's going to be like if you don't do it. And even if you do it, it doesn't say you're not going to get injured. And but your chances are much better to live a good quality life if you get back to moving.
What you just said is the fear of the unknown versus the fear of staying put. And I think what happens is the fear of the unknown is there's an unknown, and that the fear of staying, you stay put, nothing changes. But the people don't realize is things do change. They just change very slowly,
Oh yeah.
a little stiffer, a little weaker. And you may not feel it a week from now or 2 weeks from now, but maybe 9 months from now, that little stiffness, that little tightness that you thought was just a thing that would go away on its own is now a little worse. And then it makes it
Mhm.
even harder to then start to engage for something like this.
Yeah.
So it's that cycle of staying put, I think, is a far worse situation than to step into the unknown, as long as we have someone that's very safe, very repeatable, systematic, good coaching, good eyes, people that know the stuff. And that's what we really want people to understand is what we're trying to build and create out here. So
Uh, Something else that goes right along with that. Uh, being assured that you'll start with them where they are, not where you'd like them to be or not where they would like to be. Everyone has a starting point. And that starting point means if you're doing curls, it might be 5 pounds. It might be this. It might be 10 pounds. But whatever strength they have with proper form is where they start. And that'd be for all movements. It'd be for all functional movements. You got to start where you are. And then you expand on where you are and you end up going to a different point in your life. So I think that's real important too.
yeah, absolutely. Dale, that's all I got for you. This was just the one of the most coolest, best conversations I've ever had with
Well,
anyone. It just met you. Thank you so much for everything you've shared. True inspiration. It's like I can't lift the weights that this guy does. Not even close. Maybe one day with spend enough time with this guy.
well,
Just amazing. Just like vision of what. Not everyone's gonna be doing those weights that you're doing. I get it,
yeah,
but
yeah,
that's okay. You don't have to be doing your numbers, but what you're showing is what's possible,
yeah,
right? And I think that's you
yeah,
just kind of set a standard for what can happen, and
yeah,
it's just freaking amazing to hear the
yeah.
story, see the
And
medals.
you know what? And a very worthwhile goal is just be moving better.
Yeah,
Uh, just be able to go grocery shopping, carry the groceries in the house. Uh, so everyone's where they start, and everyone has different goals. My goal is different than a lot of people my age, but if I wasn't doing this, I'd still be exercising.
anything
Yeah.
else? In
Do you wanna see his gym?
let's take a tour. Want to take us a tour?
Okay,
Let's take a
we'll
tour.
start. I believe in I believe in lifting with what I compete with. So right here would be a combo Texas Strength System bench squat rack. That would be the same thing that I would use in a competition. Uh, Same power bar. It's competition. Over here I have a deadlift platform. Don't know if I really need it, but I have it.
Oh, you got a jack
And
now too?
yeah, so generally I was all against getting a jack because
Right, I remember.
look around my gym and I'd say, well, hell, where am I going to put it? I don't really need it. So I had this one guy working out with me, and he bought me a jack. I found that I love it. I don't know how I didn't have it before, but I didn't think I needed it, so I never bought one. So if he wouldn't have bought it for me, I wouldn't have it. So I had a single one, and I ended up giving that to another training partner, Jarrett. So Jarrett has that in his gym. Over here, I have this would be a deadlift bar. This would be a squat bar. Over there would
Sorry.
be a
Do we need?
Yeah. Nah, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
I don't care anymore.
right here. Do you
All right.
have this in your office?
We will soon. We're gonna I gotta really we'll show you our office one it's pretty soon. It's pretty bare bones basic. We just got kettlebells and a functional trainer. Not a ton of
Okay.
space, but now that this guy's here, we can start to grow our forever strong strength training for seniors membership program. People that want to
Okay.
like you.
Okay.
Our aspirations are to get into a bigger facility where we can start having a lot of these types of equipment next
Yeah.
year. So that's our
Yeah.
goal.
And here I have dumbbells. I have from
There we go.
5 pounds up to 80 pounds.
Wow.
Uh,
Man.
and the surprising thing is you cannot believe how often you need to use light weights, depending on the exercise. Like if you're doing uh, a fly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
man, that humbles you.
Yeah.
I think I see some big guys in the gym not doing them, and I think, and to myself, I'm thinking, well, they're just too humble to pick up a 5 pound dumbbell or a
Yeah.
10 pound dumbbell. Uh, I've
So
got
that machine he was showing,
The reverse height.
yeah,
Yeah.
reverse hyper. It's a combo. It's a two-in-one. So it's a reverse
Okay.
hyper and a glute ham raise machine
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
on
Oh,
one.
Charlie speaks. He did a whole like 2 hour thing about the glute ham
Yeah,
machine. He's,
yeah.
yeah,
It's
we'll get
yeah.
one. We're gonna get one.
yeah.
I also have my own chiropractor, and so I think the secret in using a chiropractor is you don't wait until you really get hurting. As soon as you feel that first tweak, well, then it's time to call your chiropractor.
Yeah.
And man, I'm amazed at what he can do. Like I'll go in and it just seems like he just puts his hands on me and he knows what the problem is. And I think, yeah, that's it. And so I haven't been there for 2 years, but better believe when I get a tweak, I go straight to him,
Yeah.
and then the tweak goes away. So here I got about 1,000 pounds in calibrated weights.
You see those red ones right
Yeah,
there
yeah.
on the floor? Those are 55 pounds
Oh,
each. And you see
55.
how thin they
Yeah,
are?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man, the grips
yeah,
you have to have just to freaking get it off the rack, right? Just to put it on. It's like
yeah.
you're
Uh,
gonna get your grips. Your grip will get better just by learning how to rack the weights,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So the most important part of a gym is right there, the squat rack. You can do everything in a squat rack. And the most important part for everyone, but you won't see everyone doing it. I'm going to say, especially for older people, you got these things called safety bars.
Yeah,
They're doing squats. You set those safety bars. And I like to set mine about that low, for about an inch below depth. So I know if it doesn't go up, I just go down and I'm safe. So safety bars, most important part on that is the safety bars.
And don't look at
Same
the
with over
safeties on my
there.
video today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's my home gym.
Oh,
It's
and
got,
then there's that pull down tower too.
oh yeah, this. Oh, do I like that? The only thing I would like better would be if it'd be a dual lat down machine. So I
Mm.
find that like exercises that I need to do that show up in my program and I don't have the equipment, I go to my other gym. I go to Fuel, and of course, a lot of people my age with their Medicare card that pays for the gym membership, and
yeah,
it pays for as many as you want to go to. So,
fantastic.
so I do that, and that gives me an opportunity to be around many more people. And often when I go to the gym, I always have my headset. I want to recruit someone to come train with me. So, like now, I have. Garrett trains with me Mondays and Tuesdays. Tuesday morning, I have a couple. You know how the Mormons go around. I don't know if you're Mormon or not, but they have all the young guys out, and they're out drumming up business through the summers.
Very, very
So
nice, respectful, like high energy, like
yeah, yeah, they
people that
are.
just like love life. Yeah, more of those,
Yeah,
please.
so,
You know.
so I have two. I have two of those guys that show up Tuesday mornings,
Yeah.
and they come in and lift weights. They enjoy it. I enjoy schooling them up, and it's a win-win. And then Thursday, Friday, I recruited another guy. He's working out with me Thursday and Friday. They're all younger than me, but if I could find someone my age, I'd be more than happy to bring them in and school them up. But it's
Yeah.
hard to find guys my age that want to do it.
Um, Great talking with you, Dale.
Yep, yep.
I think I just had a vision of you like he he's the guy we put on the Forever Strong modules, train the people, teaching the lifts.
Yeah.
you wanna teach a course, online course on how to teach people your age the basics of how to get started? Is this something you would like to do at some point? Up to you.
Well, that would be interesting. Of course, now I'd want guidance from what you want, first of all.
The idea just came into my head just now because
Yeah,
we want this is the thing. We know not everyone's gonna be able to afford what we want twice a week in-person training with Austin. Some people that have it,
yeah,
whatever, they have the means, they want to invest in their health, we'll take those people on.
yeah,
We want to also have resources for people that do not have the resources in order to work with us that still want to live that life. And we can teach it, but if someone like you could teach it, it's like it
Well, I
just
tell you, the guy sitting next to you has a very large database of knowledge in his head. I
I
want you to
know.
know that. I mean, he's worked with me many times, and
Yeah, we'll do it. I'm just thinking at some point one day, I'd just love to meet you in person. Fly down here. We'll take a trip over to Montana one of these days. We'll make something work. And I think we'll do it. We're gonna do it. I'm not forcing anything on you. I don't want to put any pressure,
yeah,
any
yeah,
expectations. It's just for someone to see the person of the age doing it, teaching it, living it, I think
yeah.
would be even just more potent and more powerful for people just if they can see it. So,
Hmm.
but thank you so much for
Yep.
spending your time and you know, I haven't met you, but feels like I know you already. So, thank you so much for taking time
Okay.
to spend.
I've enjoyed it. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Anything, Austin?
And no,
Well,
just seeing
Austin,
Dale.
that bench you did the other day, Austin, was pretty impressive. 275.
After
Pause.
after being hospitalized with the
Oh
fever
I
yeah.
a couple
know.
days before.
Pause.
Did I tell you that?
Well,
Saturday.
I saw the video. You sent
No,
it
no,
to
no.
me.
Before that Saturday, I was in urgent care with a 103 fever.
Wow.
I got filled with 4 bags of IV fluid.
Wow. And then how many days later did you do that bench?
So that was Saturday. I did the bench on Tuesday.
Wow. You're looking strong, Austin. You
Thank
are
you.
made. So I'm going to say California's agreeing with you.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, we're fixing them up too.
Yeah,
We're
I got
doing
body
some
work done now
we'll
here
do the
too.
body work out here. Unlock. We're finding some unlocked potential with him. Just a little couple little aches and pains, little things he didn't know. So he's we're
Yeah.
all learning from each other here. So
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Dale.
thanks, Dale.
Okay. You're welcome. Bye.